Hey, what's up, witches? Today I'm back with another witchy pagan related video. Today what I want to do is some fun experimental potion making, if that's what you want to call it, because what I have in mind is we've all heard in the witchy pagan spaces of the ever popular Florida water, which got me thinking, what is it and can I make my own? So today I want to play around with some ingredients that I happen to have on hand in my little apothecary stash or that I've been growing this season and try to make my own version that I'm going to call Freya water. But first, what is Florida water? I did some quick precursory internet searching, as I am wont to do, diving down the rabbit holes of the interwebs, but it's always really hard to find good, authentic sources of information that aren't just basically hearsay or word of mouth. But then again, at the end of the day, a lot of folklore-based pagan and Wiccan and spell work practice is largely just UPG or word of mouth or trial and error. So we're going to delve into a little bit of all of those categories today because from what I managed to find, contrary to what you might think, Florida water is not named after the state of Florida. Who knew? But Florida, like Florida, is a Spanish term that could either refer to just something being very floral or flowery, which I think the scent of Florida water is said to be because in its origins, it was originally just crafted to be kind of an eau de toilette, akin to rose water and the like. But it can also refer to a term for the fountain of youth. So Florida water, as I said, originated as just a floral cologne in the 1800s, but over time it became used in a lot of folklore and occult, aka hidden or closed practices and traditions that had to operate unseen or in the shadows, such as in hoodoo or Santeria, because not only was this product just easily obtainable over the counter with other everyday toiletry items, but as a floral herbal tonic water, it could also then be easily blessed and consecrated for use in other means such as spell work, or as I said, primarily it was underground, used by enslaved and oppressed peoples who needed to practice in secret. So this was in common enough everyday use that it wouldn't be thought weird or suspicious to go down to the store and pick up a bottle of Florida water, and it wouldn't really draw any suspicion. But since the term also can apply to things like the mythical fountain of youth, it was said and sometimes marketed as having its own curative or restorative properties. Like a lot of things were marketed back in the day. So it could be used as a topical for things like headaches or maybe like an aromatherapy based treatment. But I'm never really one to just follow the trend and use something because it's popular, which nowadays Florida water has definitely just become popularized in, was adapted by modern Wiccans. Again, probably because it's still relatively easily obtained. You can usually find it online or occasionally in your local metaphysical or witchy shop. But it's not quite as commonplace as it was back in the 1800s. And because of its origins and the way that I personally feel like it's just become a trendy product to pick up and use on things like witch talk, I would rather take the time to craft my own version, and that way I can tailor it based on what I have, what I like, and what I feel ties into my own personal spiritual practice centered around working with Freya, hence why I'm calling it Freya water. But in addition to that, I'm basing my version on this perfume spray that I bought over a decade ago, and it's almost gone now, but I held onto the bottle because, of course, like everything that I discover and love, it's now out of production. The company went out of business. But this is the Eau de Minimes Botanical Cologne of the Minimes, Le Couvent de Minimes Haute Provence. So this was kind of like floral water in that it is a floral perfume eau de toilette. But I really love the smell of this one because it has a very light, bright, refreshing citrusy scent. Like very lime, citrus forward rather than floral, which is what I tend to like, is citrusy and fruity over heavily floral scent, because a lot of those will just give me a headache, if I'm being honest. So I wanted to base my Freya water around this scent because not only do I love it, but I associate Freya and the Vanner being like summertime, sunshine, vegetation, nature-based deities with these bright, summery, citrusy scents. So I have taken note of some of the primary ingredients in this, which is bardane, benjoin, benzoin, citron, Citrus medica limonum, mauve or Malva sylvestris, Melissa or Melissa officinalis, which is lemon balm, which I just so happen to have here. I've been growing lemon balm all year and making a lemon balm tincture by just steeping some lemon balm leaves in Everclear. Neroli or citrus orange, blood orange, pamplemousse, which is another citrus, and so on and so forth. So, what am I going to put in my Freya water? Let me show you. Alright, so here we have my accumulated ingredients for my Freya water. I have my lemon balm tincture, as I said, and some bottles of moon water that I will be using as the base. So therefore, this will not be ingestible. This is very old moon water that has just been sitting out and stagnating in my apothecary for quite a while now. And not only that, but I'm putting some random essential oils and some crystals in it, and some types of crystals and gems are water soluble and you don't want to ingest that. So this is going to be for spell use, ritual use, or as a topical application only. But primarily it's going to be used for ritual, cleansing, or offering purposes. If I did want to make something that was ingestible, I would probably use distilled water, which I've used for some like room sprays before, just to make sure that it's clean water. And I would not put any crystals in it. And I would probably just stick to the lemon balm tincture because this is just lemon balm and Everclear. So I wouldn't take too many shots of it on a work day, if you know what I'm saying, but it is edible. And lemon balm is also really good for things like alleviating anxiety and upset stomach and things like that. So for the anti-anxiety purposes alone, I feel like it will work really well in a purifying and cleansing water, but it also smells really good. So I think it'll give me some of that scent of this spray that I'm looking for, along with some bergamot for that like neroli orange type smell. And if necessary, I also may add some lemongrass to kind of mimic that fresh lemon balm citrusy scent. And then for the gemstones associated with Freya, I'm going to use this rose quartz, some citrine, and some yellow stones for sunshine, happiness, good fortune, and along with those vibes, I'll also be adding some green aventurine for luck, success, good fortune, all those good things that we want to incorporate into the intention of our Freya water, and all things that I associate with her. So what I'm going to do is perhaps empty some of this bottle into this one, because this is the bottle that I want to use for the Freya water. It's one that I just happened to come across at the dollar store, and I'm always collecting random bottles and cool looking jars for my witchy and wizardy needs. And I'm basically just going to incorporate all the ingredients into said bottle and then set some intention, and then we'll leave this on the Freya altar to be blessed and charged there for however long I deem necessary, or she deems necessary, or both. So let's do it. Smells pretty good. You can definitely smell the lemongrass and bergamot in there. As you can see, I'm just shaking it up. It might still separate again since it's alcohol and water, but for now it's this nifty green color. So like I said, I'm just going to go set this on the Freya altar. I did use my little singing bowl there at the end to kind of create some sound cleansing and resonance by touching it to the glass, which is kind of my way of charging it and setting it with that sound frequency of cleansing and healing. Like I said, this is all just kind of some fun new experimentation for me. I've had this idea brewing in my brain for a while now, and so I just wanted to share my little experiment with you all and inspire you to create your own magical, mystical tools and ingredients for use in customizing your own personal practice and spell work, instead of just relying on store-bought ingredients or buying something off the shelf just because everybody's doing it and using it, and without really knowing the actual origins, meanings, and intents and purposes behind things. So there you have it, folks. There's my little educational / experimental tutorial video all about making my own personal version of Florida water that I'm dedicating to Freya and calling Freya water. So I hope that you enjoyed this little adventure, and until next time, stay classy, pagans.